Lockdowns, no movement days, limited social gatherings, curfews. These have become staples as the country contends with the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government's strategy in managing the pandemic has been to not use hardline enforcement, but to foster voluntary compliance from the public. To that end, he says Wednesday's resignation of Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Floyd Green over a viral video at a get-together on a reported no movement day was necessary.
The society in which we live in is one where the fault lines surround social justice, the rule of law, and equality under the law. For us to properly manage this pandemic, enforcement is not the tool. We don't have the resources to enforce on every single Jamaican. We manage this pandemic because we have managed to build tremendous social capital. We have managed to get the people on board to follow the protocols, to follow the orders under the DRMA. So we have not relied heavily on enforcement. We have relied on the trust and confidence of the people in voluntary compliance. And to a large degree, most Jamaicans have complied to some extent. If there is any break in that synergy between the executive authority giving the mandates, the orders under the DRMA, and the confidence that we ourselves are not just preaching, but doing what we are preaching. If there's a break in that and people start to feel that we are saying one thing, but doing another, then the level of voluntary compliance will fall. And it will become difficult to manage the pandemic in the way which we have done, which is by getting public support, by and large, behind the measures.
Mr. Holness said that ministers must exemplify the law and should not create double standards in the country.
I think Minister Green recognized this, that it was important that ministers exemplify the law, and what he did is admirable in offering his resignation, and indeed there was no option other than to, it was the right thing, and he did the right thing. It is a loss for the cabinet.
What will be next for Floyd Green?
Minister Green shows great potential, and a part of our discussion was how we could utilize the experience that he would have gained in government in other areas, because everybody, our society is one where forgiveness is part of our ethos, our outlook, and Minister Green would have the opportunity to work in other areas. We'll finalize that later on today as to where else we could utilize his talents and the experience that he has gained. I'm really very sorry that this has happened.